Okay, this is really cool. I took this car. This is a slot car. It's a very cool slot car. Um, and I thought, well, I'm going to take some images of it and see if I can change some background. So I started out, and I'm going to share this with you. So I started out with GPT, and I'm going to have to add the early pictures in here. But I took an original photo, and I put a background showing this in a rainy, just a rainy outdoor cityscape. But so then I said, I think it would be cool if I could take this car and I could put it up on a rack so you're looking underneath of it like it were in a garage. So I started with this prompt. I said, please add the background to this photo showing it underneath of the car in a service garage on a hoist, 7 feet in the air, ready for a mechanic's inspection. So I came up with that, which was pretty interesting. But I thought, it really kind of looks like a toy car up on a rack with a guy standing under it. So I said, make it more scalable. Place it on a rack differently, as if it were not a mechanic looking, but say you and I looking at it. So then came back with this, which that was interesting. But I thought, okay, so it still looks like a toy car on a rack. So I said, can you make make it so the car's not on its side, but we're viewed looking directly under it, which he tried, or they tried, AI tried, I'm using a pronoun now, right? AI tried, but kind of the same image. I said, make so the car is parallel with the lights on the ceiling. So, boom, I thought, there you go, now we're starting to get somewhere. So I said, hey, remove you and I from the photo. 2 more areas to the jack, so that's lifted the car from all 4 corners. And now, suddenly, we got a car on a jack, directly under it. And I thought, wow, this is pretty cool. We're getting somewhere. So I said, that's awesome. He said, I'm glad you like it. He says, it turned out really cool. They give me all his different perspectives here on the shop scene. He says, if you want, we could also take this concept a few directions further, really striking, especially ideas. Mechanic work light shining on the chassis, make the garage more industrial, high-end Ferrari style bays. Add tools on rolling carts in the background, turn it into a cinematic service, cinematic version. You add labels, points, things like a mechanic doing an inspection. If you want, we could also make a hyper-realistic version. And I said, let's try the mechanic light working on it. So he came back with this, and I thought, well, that's interesting. But if you look over here, you got Ferrari, you got all the tool chests and all that stuff. So you obviously got a floor now. So we got a floor added back in here. This is share the final image again, and only received a portion. So anyway, I redid it, resent it. I said, let's scratch the mechanic in the Ferrari garage. Your last suggestion. And so his last suggestion was make it hyper realistic, which that's what he did right there. Which, was still pretty cool, but you still got the floor, you still got, the car's turned on its side on a rack. So I asked for the prompts so I could request this image with any car. So he sent me the prompts, which were pretty cool. Or AI sent me the prompts. I guess we're going to call him he. I call my car a he, so. No, I don't actually. I call my car a girl. So anyway, add secret sauce, add some ideas of what I can do, and any other things. You can stop this and look. But then I got to making another point here, and thumbnails. Really gave me a lot of information. I said, show me. Oh, yeah, he mentioned something with really high-end, insane YouTubers use this, Mr. Beast kind of thumbnails, really hyper and cinematic. He sent me that. I thought, wow, that's really cool. But once again, we still got the floor. So I said, remember this photo you gave me? Standing under the car, views accurate aspect, looking directly up from under the car. And he showed me to reproduce that exactly. And then I still mentioned in here about the floor. This image, you can see the floor. There it is. I said, you can see the floor. I said, that changes the viewer's aspect to seeing the car on its side. He said, you're right. So here's what I got to do. I said, change this when you make the prompt. Then make sure that you add this, which is background shows the garage ceiling, no visible floor or horizon line. Camera standing directly beneath the background shows. So I added that prompt into my photos. So then he goes into some real world camera tricks using a different 35mm camera as though it was taking the photo, and we end up with this, which is, it's like, dude, this is a toy car. Okay, but they just highlighted this crazy. So that was interesting. I said, let's go back to the image, to this image, which was the image of up in the air. And I said, let's do this. We got to get rid of the floor. We got rid of the floor. I said, let's try some advertising banners or something to give it some kind of a look around. Because now we're underneath of it, kind of looking up, or at least lights on the side. And I said, this image, let's try putting this in advertisements on the ceiling. So then he came back with this. And I thought, all right, we're getting somewhere. I keep asking. And it's like trying to teach. It's like trying to teach a child. This AI has never been doing this. I don't think anybody else has asked it these questions. And gave it these prompts and commands to do this sort of thing. So now it's trying to listen to me. Made him slightly blurred. Made him a little bit obscured, but not really like I want. I'm saying to move them into these positions. Now, I posted a photo up here which had me, I drew some lines, and he still didn't get it right. Finally, I said, better. I said, but turn the banners vertically so they're behind all four arms of the lift. So then we get this. That was better. I said, yeah, that's what I meant. Please make them larger. Boom. So then we get this. But it really is, it's crazy. This was quite a few minutes of trying to, teach AI in respect to get them, I gave them a pretty good boom. Yes, excellent work. Boom indeed. That really came together nicely. It's like working with C3PO here. What made this version work as well? I can't quite do can't do C3PO's accent, but I guess I could probably post this and put my script on my side with my voice and his script back to me as C3PO. It would make for a very interesting video. That one really came together nicely. What made this version work so well? True, standing under the car perspective, the camera centered, looking straight up. Lift arms framing the shot. All four arms create a natural visual frame. Ceiling lights reinforce a vertical orientation. Your brain reads the scene correctly as looking upward.